Thank you.
Sure. So let us start for today's class. What I was mentioning to you, like couple of the people, are not available today, right? So maybe one who is, she would be maybe, available from next weekend. That is the reason on her request, I postponed yesterday's class also. But today, maybe we need to give a start. And that is the reason we will continue with you. Okay. She can watch out the demo and maybe if has some question, can take it later on. Okay. So let's start.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So today we will be gonna cover F5 DNS, right? Before starting it, I just wanted to give you an overview that whenever any business need to put their footprint on the internet, what they need to do? They need to publish a website, right? And when somebody need to create a website, there are several, I would say, steps for creating a website to selecting the web hosting provider, configuring the domain. But we are looking for something which is to our domain area, which is DNS, like choosing a DNS or domain. So let us say there is a company named as www.example.com. Okay. They choose their domain. What after that? Once this domain name is chosen, they need to give this or register this domain name, register this domain name with something named as domain registrars or web hosting providers. Okay. Domain registrars, right? So when somebody need to choose a domain registrar, it's essential to consider a lot of factors like pricing, customer support quality, user interface usability, right? Or maybe additional services. I am not going to that. But in market, there are a lot of domain registrars. Well known are like GoDaddy. There is something named as Namecheap. Google also is providing the registrar services. Then HostGator, if I am not wrong. And there are a lot of domain registrars. Have you heard about them, Aman?
Yeah. I know them. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So these domain registrars does what? They register their domain names and give this detail to the top level domains, right? Now, let me come to the DNS regulation flow first. Probably you will be able to, understand that in a better way. There is a client. This client now wanted to go to the same domain, www.example.com. Okay. So when this client wanted to go somewhere, very first query will go to its local domain name server, LDNs, right? It can be a modem, it can be maybe some external DNS server, there can be anything. So very first query will go to the LDN. LDNS in turns will send this query to somebody named as a root server. What is root server? Is the dot. Where is this dot? This dot is in the last. So your name query will process like this from right to left. So there is a hidden dot in very last. Okay. This is named as root server. In couple of the documents, you can able to see it is named as A2M, right? Which are like distributed to different companies, and they used to take this query. So second, it will go to the root. Root name server will give the referral. It never resolve the IP, but it gives the referral depending upon where it need to send. So it need to send on the .com. So it will give the resolution that, okay, buddy, go to .com servers. Now, when it will go to the .com servers, fourth, okay, it will send it back again with a referral that, okay, I am aware about it. Maybe this name is taken from the Google, GoDaddy somewhere. Okay. It is saying that, okay, I am aware about it. You go to the authoritative name server. In this case, the authoritative name server is whom? GoDaddy, let us say. Okay. These are built upon the GoDaddy. So GoDaddy say that, okay, I am aware about it. In the seventh step, it will give you the exact IP. Maybe it's 1.1.1.1. LDNS will cache this and send this response back to the client that, okay, your IP is 1.1.1.1. Any issue in this flow?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm picking that. Yeah, cheers.
Okay. So this is the basic website, maybe I will say, which has only one records or two records. What if in the organization, okay, let us say there is an organization, maybe abc.com. ABC has their blogs, blog.abc.com, hr.abc.com, employees.abc.com, and they are developing a lot of applications. So it means abc.com is your general domain. Within this, you are creating a lot of subdomains or lot of application you are publishing over there. Okay. It can be maybe 1,000 plus records or 10,000 plus records. I'm just taking an example. All those things you cannot onboard on the GoDaddy, right? It is very simple. User interface will get provided to you by the registrars, domain registrars, where you can add a couple of the A record, maybe some C names or some uh, MX records. But when there are such a huge database, you cannot go with such kind of thing. Now, because we are more keen towards about F5 LDNS, let me just draw up the same diagram again. What happened is there is a client. This client will send a query to whom? To LDNS. From LDNS, the query will go to where? To the root server. From the root, it will go to the top level domain as usual. Okay, from top level domain, maybe there can be a second level domain. Let us say in our case, GoDaddy. And it is sending that I have the inquiry for the same. You go to some authoritative server, and that authoritative server we are building on GTM or F5 DNS. GTM is the old name, right? Now this GTM has all the A records. All the query now will get resolved by your GTM. Okay. So this is how where your GTM will reside. Any question?
Sorry, one question over here. SLD and GTM, which one is the authoritative and which one is the
This is the
non?
authoritative.
Right. The definition of authoritative is the one which hold that particular records physically. Is that the definition of authoritative?
Partially true, but I will, define about the same later on. Just
Okay.
allow me some time in the theory, in the this class only, today only. I will be gonna explain about that. Okay.
So the code ID is non-authoritative. Am I right?
Right. So it is even not non-authoritative. We cannot say that. It is a second level domain.
Okay.
It will give only the referral. Here, it can be authoritative, or after the GTM, there can be an authoritative DNS. This can be an authoritative DNS. It can again non-authoritative. That depending upon how you are deploying your GTM box.
All
There
right.
is a
Got you.
different
Thank you.
classes for the same, and I would be gonna talk about that in detail later on. But currently, if I talk about the packet flow, client request will go to your LDNS. right? From here, a DNS query packet will get generated. DNS query. If you will open a Wireshark, okay, you can see the DNS query content. It will be having some kind of a ID named as transaction ID. Okay, then it will be having a lot of flags, which can be question flag, answer flag, lot of things. Then you can have a question field that, okay, whatever question you are asking, what is the question? Okay, in the question field only, you would be able to see this name. Like in our case, client is example.com. So this name we can see in our DNS query in question section. And there can be some additional information. But obvious, when you are receiving this response in the last, which is going towards the client, right? And if you're capturing this, you can able to see the DNS, like you are checking the DNS query content, right? Similarly, you would be able to see the DNS response content as well. Again, in your response content, there would be a header, which includes your transaction ID, right? And from here, you can see that this transactional ID of your response and your query should be same. That is why or how you can able to diagnose that what is your actual response is, right? And there you will get one more section named as answer section. And in answer section, you will get this ID. Are you able to relate it, what I am telling you?
Yeah. I'm just following. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, let me just open NetMinion.net. Okay. And before it, let me go to the Wireshark. Just allow me a minute. I am just capturing this all the traffic and putting enter. Okay. Going to my Wireshark, getting stop these all packets. Fine. Now, because you need to capture or you need to filter your queries, which is having the name NetMinion, right? How you can capture that? You can just write down DNS dot query dot name, whatever name you wanted to go for. In our case, it is NetMinion dot. If you are capturing some other traffic, probably you can. So I will be just filtering it with the same. In the filter, I am going over here, writing down DNS. Okay. In my previous class, I already did it. So you can see its DNS query name is netminion.net. Can you see this? The first line, 934. Yeah. Here
Yeah.
you can see there is domain name system and it is what? Query, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Maximize it. This is a transaction ID 0x38FE, right? Here, if you see the response, there are two response, standard query response. Can you see? There are in here you can see this is a response and this is a response. But our response is the first line, 1080 line. Why? Because of transaction ID. We can able to see that, okay, whatever response is there available in my transaction ID is resembling to the 1080 line. So if you see here, it is talking about what is the length, what is the transaction ID, and there are a couple of the flags. In the flags, you can see everything is 0. Just it is asking for something, right? Then there is a question flag, answer RR. See, what is this RR means? RR means resource records. Have you heard about them?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are resource record? It is nothing like whenever we need to, as I was mentioning you need to put a website and there can be 1,000 of, entries. So that entries we need to create in something named as zone file. Zone file is bit like you just understand if you have a notepad file. Okay, not literally it's a notepad, but I am just trying to give you a resemblance. Here you need to tell that, okay, I have a record. A record means when you need to resolve from IP to, sorry, name to IP, other way, from name to IP. Then there is something named as a record. A is a type of resource record, right? And here you can give some name, like in our case, it's a NetMinion .NET, and whosoever is maintaining this zone file should have this IP address against it, which is 87.98.243.203. Okay. So how this request should be moving? I am a client here. This request should be going to my modem. My modem should going to the root. Root should send it to the top level domain, which is in our case .NET. .NET should be sending it to the authoritative name server, whosoever it may be. Okay. So in my case, it's a Cloudflare. So Cloudflare will give the response that, okay, buddy, this I have an A record for this entry and the IP is here. Making sense?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Sure. So let us come back on our domain name system. This is a query packet you can able to see. I talked about there is a transaction ID. In answer RR, there is nothing. In question, there is a question. Additional RR, authoritative RR, nothing. Okay. So if I will open my query packet, you can able to see what I am trying to look upon. A name named as netminion.net. I am saying that it should be a type A record, right? Class is internet, but obvious. And you can able to see all of those things which is there. Now let's jump back. Here also you can see the answer is in 1080. In 1080, if you see here, it is showing you it's a DNS. What kind of packet? Response packet. Yeah. In the response packet, if you just open it, again, you can see LAN, transaction ID, and all of those things, right? There is no error, but obvious, good. There, the question is still copied from your request packet or the query packet. Okay. So again, this is same. Why? Because we need to see like what question was. Now in answer field, if you see, it is talking about this was your question. Type was A, internet class, and the address is 87.98.243.203. And that is how your whole DNS transaction is completed. This is a query packet. This is the response packet. This was my client. And here maybe there was a Cloudflare DNS server. And all the entries should be available. A record, C name, MX record, or blah, blah. Any question in this flow?
Yeah, nicely explained. Thank you very much. One question, the where we can see the, Cloudflare are the responding query responding
You can
source.
you cannot see that, okay, over here,
Oh,
but there are lot of tools. Like if I will go here, DNS record. I forget that name. What was that? DNS checker maybe. If I see here, NetMinion dot. Okay, you can see the same IP over here also, right? So who is the owner? Maybe it is showing somebody else. Okay. But if you will be keep on checking like here, can you see?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? From where you
Okay.
are able to find it out? NS record. NS record means the name server record. Pointer record, there is nothing. SOA, you can able to see. The SOA record is also, but I don't know if you are aware about it or not, but you can check, some details if you wanted to see about any website, you can able to see here. Let's go for the Google. See, they are managing their own. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
sure, fine. So, so far, there is any other doubt, any question, please do let me know in this. Otherwise, maybe I need to talk about more.
Yes,
In a,
please go ahead. I've got clear everything. Thank you very much.
sure. So, what I was talking about, in our case, what I showed you currently, who was responding? This was an authoritative server, right? But I told you, sometime it's not feasible. Either you need to maybe go for some professional services from the GoDaddy.com or maybe Cloudflare or maybe somebody else. If you need to push your 10,000 or 20,000 of DNS entries. But again, there are some drawbacks that I would be going to discuss about in our upcoming classes. Currently, I just wanted to tell that people are moving towards their own DNS server, right? And DNS server can be Infoblox and a lot of more names. I won't be touching that currently. I'm just talking about GTM. So when my query will reach to GTM, like here is the client initiating a request. Let me tell you one more thing. If LDNS has a cache available, okay, I am not considering the cache field currently. Cache can be on the browser level, cache can be on the OS level, cache can be on the LDNS level. Okay. If such kind of cache is coming into the picture, then but obvious my query won't proceed further. Who will answer? The cache will answer, right? But I'm not considering the cache in my current scenario. And let me just proceed what I was mentioning earlier. So there is a client, come to the LDNS to top level domain, or maybe before that root, then maybe second level domain, tertiary level, whatever. In the last, it is going to the GTM. Okay. So when I'm saying the request is going to the GTM, it means on the GTM, we need to create some configuration object named as listener. Okay. So when I'm saying request is going to GTM, it means where the request is going to the listener. And we need to create the listener for sure. It can listen to the TCP packet, UDP, generally UDP, you are aware, 53, okay, port number. So it will go to, generally all the DNS requests will go to your listener on UDP port 53. And whenever some request will come in the background, there are some processes, or we used to say some daemons named as GTMD daemon that will get involved, right? What is daemon, by the way? Avan?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Daemon is, I think that is the service on the GTM or some
Let me tell
kernel
you,
services.
whenever you are using Linux in the background, okay,
Mhm.
because if you go with Cisco, go with Checkpoint, go with Polo, go with F5, beneath their OS, who is the underlying OS? That is Linux, right? And in Linux, I will say every background process run independently, okay, with the use of daemons. So daemons typically perform your system related tasks, provide services to other processes or the users. It starts when you boot up your system, continue running until your system is shut down. Okay. It may work in the background process, and whenever you are running something, it will get involved. Let us say if I am just going for SSH, the daemon for SSH is SSHD. D stands for daemon. If I am running HTTP service, the daemon for HTTP is HTTPD. If I wanted to check my NTP related stuff, the daemon for NTP is NTPD. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, yeah, got you. Thank you.
Yes. So whenever request will come to your listener, okay, one GTMD process or the daemon will get involved. And here a very, I will say, deep inspection would done that either it should be resolved through the intelligent DNS resolution or through the isolated DNS resolution. What is the difference between two? I would be gonna cover soon. Let me touch those topics. See, what happened is when you need to deploy your GTM, okay, there can be, okay. So let us say before GTM, your organization is having a DNS server. This DNS server can be any, maybe info blocks or maybe bind. Okay. Bind stands for Berkeley, right? Internet name domain, which is a free, right? Free software. You can use Microsoft also, Microsoft DNS server, maybe multiple. So what happened is, let us say one organization has 10K of entries. They are already running their DNS server. Okay. Now, due to security reasons or due to multiple other reasons, which I would be gonna cover soon. Okay. They want GTM in their environment. So when GTM they need, either they can do the migration from old DNS server to the new DNS server, right? But sometimes it's not seamless, right? It can be a tough thing or I will say hard nut to break, right? So what happened is people can put like this. Here is the GTM, and before customer will come to the GTM, and GTM is taking all the maybe records specific things from the old DNS servers. So you are not removing your old DNS servers from the picture. They are using as is, but beforehand you are putting a DNS server. Now, this is your authoritative name server. Authoritative DNS, maybe you can say. It may or may not act as a authoritative. I am just giving an example. It's a non-authoritative. What happened is, if you just see the security perspective, okay, your client is well aware about where I need to go in the GTM, but actual request is coming from DNS. How? That is again a separate story. Okay, I would be going to cover in a moment. But actual request, who is taking care? My old DNS servers. From client, when client will resolve a query like www example.com, answer is coming like 1.1.1.1. This answer will be non-authoritative, which means your query is resolved, but I am not an authoritative name server. They are somebody else, whereas query is resolved. Now, if you go to your command prompt, okay, let me just open a command prompt. Give me a minute. Are you with me? Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm listening and watching your video. Yeah, thank you.
So if I just open an interactive NS lookup and going to NetMinion, netminion.net, going to Google facebook.com, going to facebook.com. You try to observe every website which is going like this is having what kind of answer?
Yeah.
Non-authoritative.
Non-authoritative. Yeah.
What does that mean? They are not revealing their actual DNS name server.
Yeah. Due to
Whereas
security,
your,
I believe this mechanism is being used. They are not giving the direct access to the original DNS server.
yeah,
Am I
for
right?
sure, for sure, for sure. Security
Yeah.
is one of the thing, one of the important aspect. Okay. So this is a one kind of, I will say, deployment model which can be there into your environment. Okay. There can be a lot of more which we will be gonna cover later on. But first, let me tell you, when you are having a legacy DNS server, this DNS server need to send the request where to the app servers. Eventually, there are two type of traffic which you need to understand very wisely. Okay. What are those packets? I am just explaining. There is a client. This client wanted to go to www.abc.com. This client, before generating a packet, should be aware about the destination IP address. For that, it will generate a DNS query, which I showed you. Once this DNS query is resolved, it will get the IP address of the application. Suppose that your traffic will go on the application server directly. So this is your, please be noted, this is your DNS query, DNS response. This is your actual HTTP query and HTTP response. So there are two packet flows I am talking hand in hand. There can be lot, hell more. I'm not gonna take care about that. Just I wanted to give you this overview so that you can understand more about the GTM process. Any question here?
No, thank you very much. Yeah, all clear.
Perfect. Now, let me tell you, you have a client who is generating a query for www.abc.com. This is going to a DNS server, maybe a Bind or maybe a Microsoft, whatever, and it has two entries available. Okay. These are the app servers. You need to understand now. Okay. This is your hosting your website, abc.com, both of them, right? Now, when query will come over here, it has an A record. That A record should be mentioning abc.com. That should having two outputs maybe 1.1.1.1, 1.1.1.2. This is revealing 1.1.1. This has maybe 1.1.2. Now, but obvious, if this request will go to any of one server, maybe here, it will get the response. HTTP response will be generated, and there is no issue, right? The request can go anywhere. What if I say this server is up, but this server is down? In such scenarios, when your DNS is sending the request to the server 1, they will give the response. But every request which is going to the server 2 will not be responding at all. Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Where comes the GTM? GTM or F5 DNS will proactively monitor its and resources continuously. First thing, I hope you got the point why F5 DNS is required. Okay. So maybe you are saying I am providing a high availability. But why? Because I have two, servers, three servers, four servers, whatever. But this high availability is not a true high availability because your DNS server fails to determine either your site is up or not. Let us say somebody decommissioned it. Even then, because you have an resource record available, you will be keep on giving this IP. You are not bothering to check either it exists, either it is responding or not. Any doubt?
No, no, thank you.
Good. Then, when you have this kind of DNS server, you need to load balance among couple of the servers. Generally, they have only one kind of load balancing mechanism named as round robin. Okay, which means one request here, second request here, third request here, fourth request here. Distribute the packet uniform. Okay, so it won't check either one of the server is overloaded or down, right? So it won't be able to check those kind of things. Then, whenever you are putting any entry into such kind of DNS server, okay, it's so much error prone. I'm just talking about a very generic, you know, stuff. So it's error prone. Whenever you are doing any manual intervention, can result into high impact errors. You may need to restart the services. You need to go for the maintenance or a lot of things, right? So that is why, like you maybe go into a lot of you know like if DNS is down, everything is down, right? But if we talk about GTM, one thing what GTM can do, if a user, there are two users. This user is, let us say, from London. This is from India. In the GTM, I have two servers, server one and server two, which are the app server. This is residing in maybe Dubai. This is residing maybe in the Switzerland. Okay. GTM will see the London request should go to the Switzerland only. Okay. The India request should go to the Dubai, which means closest, nearest data center it will choose. Provide the best application services experience. This ensure your distribution application are always fast, always available. Okay, are you getting this point?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This the features of the the GTMs you're explaining. Yeah. Good.
And if I talk about, this is the right time to talk about a feature named as GSLB. Okay, so I am just going over here, creating a rough diagram again. This is a user. User is going to its LDNS. From LDNS, it is going to the root, top level domain, second level domain, and eventually the request will go to the GTM. In your data center, you have maybe two data centers. One is in the Asia, one is in the maybe Europe region or US region. Okay, I am just creating two for the simplicity is. Here you have LTM, which is working in a HA pair. Here also you have LTM, which is working in a HA pair. Beneath that, there are actual servers. Here also you have some server forms. And these servers are the one who are hosting these websites. Okay. So let us say the request, it wanted to go for abc.com. Okay. So these servers are hosting abc.com. There can be multiple applications for sure. I'm just taking the example of one. Eventually, they should be going to your data set. where your GTM is residing. Now, what happened is when such request will come, you are creating such kind of infrastructure. On this LTM, you should be creating a virtual server, right? I'm just taking the IP of the virtual server 1.1.1. Here, the IP can be 10.10.10.1, 10.10.10.2, 10.10.10.3. Here, the IP can be maybe 172.16.1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And the virtual server IP may be 2.2.2.2. Okay. So you can create something named as wide IP. Wide IP is just a name. Okay, name. So name you will give abc.com. In the wide IP, you can have a pool. In the pool, you will be having pool members. Pool members would be virtual server 1 and virtual server 2 respectively, which is having 1.1.1.1 IP and 2.2.2.2 IP. Okay. Now, when any query will come to your GTM, GTM will see, does I own this domain or no? Yes, I am owning. It will check to
I'm
its.
sorry to interrupt you. Where is the listener and the wide IP? I mean, is there something like similar kind of stuff?
Yes. So what happened is request will go to the listener.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, got you now.
Listener will see either I need to do the intelligent DNS resolution or the accelerated. Accelerated when you have different domain name servers. Oh, sorry, you have different DNS, but GTM is on front of them. Intelligent means your GTM is owning all the things. So when you are doing intelligent, you should have wide IP. Actually, we have a dedicated class for the same. Today, I am just giving you an overview. Okay, we
Okay,
have
that's
a
fine. Yeah.
we have a total whole classes dedicated for wide IP, listener, and everything, right? So I'm just trying to give you an overview. So request will go to the listener for sure. It will invoke the GTMD process, and it will see either I need to do the intelligent resolution or the accelerated. And intelligent resolution means the wide IP, which means you are utilizing completely your GTM box. Getting my point?
Got you, got you. Yeah, thank you.
Now, when you have GTM, on the GTM, you have the wide IP. It means you are creating some name. Wide IP does not have IP for just FYI. Okay. Maybe it's named as wide IP, but it is only name. And this name can be a specific name or it can include an asterisk also. Okay. That I would be actually going to cover in later on classes. Okay. Now, wide IP will see, does I have a pool or no? I have a pool. In the pool, I have virtual server 1 and virtual server 2. Now see, your F5 GTM is monitoring F5 LTM. F5 LTM are monitoring your end server, right? So let us say, I'm just giving an example. Let us say these two are down. Only this is up. Even then your virtual server should be up. Okay. And let us say your request is going to 1.1.1. So request will come to your GTM. GTM is giving the IP 1.1.1. Next request is going to your LTM. This is the active one. Going to 1.1.1. And from here, LTM is aware that this is up. The request is going to your server 3. Any doubt?
No, no, thank you very much. Very nicely explained. Yeah, got you.
Correct. So that is how your GTM is doing the load balancing between different data centers. So there is a, let us say, data center 1. This is your data center 2. So among the data center, you are doing the load balancing now, right? And when you are doing among the data center, it is named as global server load balance. Because you are doing the load balancing here also. Server load balancing, who is doing? LTM is doing. Server load balancing, here LTM is doing. But GTM is doing your global level server load balancing. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Not only this, let me tell you, later on, probably, picture will more clear to you when we will be gonna, cover our more topics. Let us say this request is going to the GTM. Okay. On the GTM, you are creating a wide IP. Okay. In the wide IP, you can have different pools. So you can have pool 1, pool 2. In the pool, you can have different virtual servers, which is your pool members. Virtual server 2, virtual server 3. Here also, let us say virtual server 1 and virtual server 2. So these are what? These are your pool members, both of the side. Now try to understand, when request is going to the GTM, your load balancing mechanism will work on the wide IP level. Very first, it will see either I need to go to the pool number 1, either I need to go to the pool number 2, on which pool I need to go. Okay. There can be again 4 methods available, which I would be going to touch into your intelligent load balancing when I would become, going to cover about intelligent load balancing mechanism. Then I will show you what are those. And there are lot of parameters, especially when you are going for something named as topology. Okay. So you will able to find out and you will be able to relate how deep level inspection it is doing with the DNS query, because everything what we are talking here is with respect to the DNS, right? Once, let us say it choose your pool number 1. Now from pool, it will again check which pool member I need to, check with. So let us say it is checking 3.3.3.3 is the pool member IP. GTM will be gonna send one of the IP named as 3.3.3. And it can give any of the IP depending upon maybe the pool member, like 1.1.1, 2.2.2, 11.11.11, 22.22.22.22. So any IP can be given to a client depending upon various factors, I would say. Okay. So let us say client is nearby to the data center uh, APAC, and there also it will see that how many pool member I have. Maybe in APAC data center I have 3 regional data center, right? In Dubai, in Singapore, in India, whatever. Okay. It can even try more deep level, granular level inspection and will give that IP which is very nearest to the user, so that it can be best experience with respect to a client. Any question?
No, thank you very much. With regard to the topology and the round robin, if it is possible, a little bit, if you give the ideas, what is main difference on
I will.
the?
I will.
Thank you.
But first, you need to understand there are 2 load balancing. One is at the wide level. Second, load balancing as the pool. Okay. Now, the question is, when some request is coming and you have round robin, it will send the request uniformly. First packet here, second packet here, third here, fourth here. This is round robin uniformly. Only the condition is both of them should be up and running fine, right? Because your F5 DNS will monitor them. In case of topology, I can have something named as regions. Okay. I can create couple of the regions. Let us say my infrastructure is worldwide. Okay. Maybe here the US, Africa, Europe, Asia, whatever. I can create some regions that okay for maybe Asia or Africa. Okay, Asia. the record should be going to where? It should be going to the Asia data center. And I can create again there, let us say I am just giving an example. See, my request is coming from the Asia Pacific. Okay. This should go to the Singapore data center. I am giving 100 priority. This should go to the India data center. I am giving 110 priority. Right. Again, it should go to the Europe data center. I am giving the 50 priority. Now, let us say after some time, this is down. Where my request will go? Oh, sorry, first my request will go to the India, but India is down. Where the request will go? To the Singapore. Singapore is also down. It will go where? In the Europe. So that is how we can, play around. Like main thing is we need to select which data center need to be chosen.
All right, that's fine. I know we will cover this in detail later, but now I got the idea. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes. One thing is this. Second thing, when we are talking about DNS, DNS is having a lot of vulnerabilities. Lot of vulnerabilities. Like couple of them are you should have learned about DNS spoofing. Have you? I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
giving an example.
yeah.
Okay. So just an example. There is a user. User wanted to send a query for finding out abc.com. And this query going to the LDNS. LDNS is sending to somebody else like here, root, top level domain, second level domain. And here, when this query is going to the authoritative name server, in the middle, man in middle attack, some hacker is giving the IP, wrong IP, like, okay, you go to 1.1.1.10, whereas actual IP was 1.1.1.1. Okay. Now, let us say this abc.com is a bank website. So when user will open this abc.com, okay, some hacker has created the same kind of website which abc.com original look has. Okay. And he or she is putting their credentials. Once this credential is issued, in the background, hacker can send this a genuine request to the abc.com and the transaction can be made. I'm just trying to, give you an example and hypothetical situation like you can able to understand. So, uh, DNS spoofing is bit like attackers attempt to insert malicious DNS record into the cache of your DNS resolver. Okay. So
Yeah.
when user attempt to access a legitimate domain, they are redirected to a malicious website, which is controlled by your attacker. Any doubt?
Got you. Got you. Thank you.
Okay. Then there can be n number of actually, attacks. Maybe one of them is DNS flooding. Okay. DNS flooding. Bit like your DOS or DDoS attack. Means somebody, the hacker, wanted to overwhelm your DNS server with a very high volume of DNS queries. Why? Causing them to become unresponsive or maybe deny to the service to the legitimate user. So DNS floods are often the parts of your DDoS attack. Okay. For aimed to disrupt your online service. There can be hijacking, there can be annex domain attacks, lot of attacks. And it is a time where your FIDNS will come into the picture and it give us something named as DNSSEC. SEC stands for security. Okay. So DNS security extension, which adds some kind of maybe you can, if you are aware about SSL, right? So similarly, here also, it adds some cryptographic authentication on the DNS to prevent such kind of attacks or the one or exposure of such kind of vulnerabilities. So that is how your GTM solution will come into the picture. Any doubt?
Yeah, you know that this security part, is that configured on the, I mean, non-authoritative server to authoritative server in between whatever the communication is going on?
When user is coming,
Yeah.
it will go to again root, top level, second level, and in the last to GTM. It may be an intelligent DNS resolution. It may be an accelerated DNS resolution, which means there are some other servers. Depending upon the configuration, there can be n number of configurations over here in this scenario that I will be going to cover later on. But there can be existing DNS servers, right? So here DNSSEC is configured on GT. So any request which is coming from the user perspective will be get secured from your GT. And for the same, your registrar should be also having couple of the things, okay, that I will be going to discuss later on, because some keys are generated, some symmetric keys are generated, okay, which everybody should be aware.
Right. So this GTM to the client, whatever is the reply on the query, that is SSL decrypted,
I
am I right?
won't
Through the
say this is
DNSSEC?
not, this is not SSL, we can say, okay. There is a separate key management. SSL word, I took the name of SSL because I wanted to compare with them. Okay. It's not
Oh,
SSL.
right. Okay. Okay.
It's not SSL. I just wanted to tell you, like in SSL encryption, we have some asymmetric and symmetric key,
Yeah. Yeah.
mechanism.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Similarly, here also we used to create some keys.
This security is between the GTM to the client side, in between that DNSSEC you mentioned, yeah? So in between, nobody can attack like a man in middle because
Man
that
in middle
is,
can't be happen. Why? Because let us say this time when it is sending the request, it is saying this is the key also. With referral, there is a key also, right? Now, if somebody man in middle is sending that, okay, I am the referral, it won't be able to decrypt this key. Why? Because this key is available in the GTM.
okay.
Bit like your SSL, like
Hmm.
if you're encrypting something with HTTPS, okay,
Hmm.
using the public key, who can decrypt it? Your server. Why? Your server has a private
Private key.
key,
Yeah.
bit like that. Now, let me tell you, because we are talking about these, whenever your DNS query come, let us say your DNS query approach to the GTM. Okay. In the GTM, intelligent DNS resolution, it will check the wide IP. That do I have the wide IP or no? Okay. Otherwise, there can be something named as DNS Express, which is again a very, very powerful feature for your F5. There is completely a hardware chip for the Express chip. Okay. That I would be going to discuss in our DNS Express class. So it can go for DNS Express. It can go for something named as cache. In the cache also there can be 3 or 4 types of cache are available. Okay. It can go with some kind of pool that, okay, in the listener, I am just putting a pool, bit like listener is acting as a virtual server. In the virtual server, you can have pool and in the pool, you can have pool member. Here on the listener, you can create pool member of your DNS1, DNS2, like that. Or you can configure the cache. So cache is very important. DNS Express, You are just putting whole the zone, transferring whole the zone on the GTM. So in isolated DNS resolution, there are, I will say, plenty of options available that we will be gonna touch into our lab part also. So if you see, here you go. You can see this is our lab, right? In the lab, first we will go with one GTM only. Then when we need to do a HA kind of stuff, okay, the HA of LTM and DNS is bit like different that I would be gonna touch into the HA class. But first, so what we will create, we will make this Linux server as a DNS server using bind 9 utility. As I was mentioning, it's a free utility. We will create our complete zone. We will put our A records here, C names here, and lot of other details here, right? So first we will try to resolve from here. Then we will be gonna make up our GTM. From GTM, we will see how we can do the accelerated resolution. In the accelerated resolution, as I was mentioning, we can attach the pools, we can do the DNS Express, we can do the cache. Lot of details are there. And in the last, we will be gonna come up for the wide IP. And in the wide IP, there are a lot of other things which will come into the picture like monitoring, load balancing, security, blah, 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 that we will be gonna discuss and we will conclude our class. That is how whole plan is. Any question, anything?
No, thank you very much. Hopefully, we will discuss the the use cases on each deployment during the dedicated class of that
For sure,
deployment. Yeah, yeah.
for sure, for
So
sure.
only to understand the which situation we could the select the express or the cache or the wide intelligence DNS feature of the the GTM. Yeah.
That's
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
okay then. So we are good to wrap it up over here. Okay. From next weekend, full-fledgedly we will start, and it will be 2 hours of session. Just FYI. Okay. It
All
will
right.
be 2 hours of session in which we will just give 5 minutes. Like if I'm just giving an example. If your class is from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., okay, we will start it sharp at 10:05 p.m. Okay, so you need to just available within 5 minutes so that there is no wastage of time for other candidates. Then at approximately at 11 p.m., we will take a quick break of 5 to 10 minutes so that you can stretch out or whatever. Okay, and pause that we will continue for our.
UK time is the 9:30, I believe. Uh,
That's fine. So we have different, across the globe, we will be having the candidates. So
yeah,
that's
yeah. Today I joined the 9:30 to 9:30 is our regular time, I
sure.
believe. And next time, because I already have a second class APM class. So
Yes,
immediately when we finish 2 hours of GTMs, then I'll jump on the APM class. So that is neck to neck. I don't mind. That's fine.
okay,
Uh, if it is convenient for you, and that is okay. A couple of questions, if you don't mind,
go
apart
ahead.
from that. Yeah. First of all, the I have with regard to licenses of the F5. So I have they got the licenses, I think 1 month ago. So they only give the 30 days free license. Am I right?
No, currently
Oh,
they are providing only two licenses. Policy got changed. I will,
okay.
I will gonna talk about it. Okay, you will get only two license. Yes, for the 30 days. Okay,
30 days, yeah.
yes, but
The two box, I
But
mean, VM
but
box, yeah.
there is a star, okay, which I am not disclosing here.
Yeah,
I will be gonna cover it in those classes which are not for the YouTube. Okay.
yeah.
So there I will give you some hack, like how you can utilize that more efficiently for your laptop.
All right, that's good. That's what I'm, the struggling at the moment for APM license. I have applied the.
No, no, don't worry. I will give you that help. Okay.
Okay, okay, great.
Any other question?
Okay. Apart from that, uh, obviously, I will talk to you regarding, I'm just, no, yeah, yeah, with regard to labs and PDFs of the class. So if you could give us the before the class for that, then that would be very helpful to see the what we are studying in the class. So myself, the other students, they can make questions which can be asked during the class, not to bother you the out of the class time. So that is something
Which
I'm
PDF
requesting
you are referring to? Sorry.
for the class PDF. I mean, whatever we are studying, the document.
Whatever
Uh,
I am teaching, right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Those PDF you will get. See, I just explore it. If you saw, uh,
yeah.
I just export it, and you will get it in a moment. So if you just see this PDF, you will get. Okay. This
So
all the notes,
lab book we are
whatever I
getting.
taught you.
Yeah,
So in today's section, it is there, and you will get it. Okay, you will get it.
right.
So
So
this is there, and you will get it. Okay.
okay, that is the whiteboard. The presentation you are telling.
Whiteboard
That is,
presentation where I was teaching you.
yeah, yeah, that's fine. The lab book, when we are gonna get that?
Lab workbook is only for your lab initial configuration that you will get by today. That's not an issue.
Okay, okay.
That is
So
ready to use material. I am just sending to her and she will allocate it to you.
right. So every labs, whatever we are doing throughout the course, we are gonna get that. Uh,
No. So I just created it for your initial, class, like how to make your lab up. Okay, how your data center need to be make up, use your Linux servers, how you need to configure the Windows server. But
yeah,
later on, like we need to do for DNS Express, we need to do for maybe applying the pool in the listener. For the same, I will teach you and I will tell you step by step in the whiteboard. Probably that you can utilize as your work. Okay, that's not there.
right.
But
So there is
initial
no
workbooks are there. Initial
dedicated,
work.
I mean, class-wise,
No,
whatever we are.
class-wise PPTs, no, class-wise PPTs or PDFs are not there. Okay. That may be whatever I am explaining in the whiteboard, I would be gonna give you on the same.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Right. Anyway,
Sure.
if there is any question, I'll ping you on that
Feel free
WhatsApp
to
group.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Feel free to ask. Not an issue.
Okay. Thank you very
So,
much for your
sure.
nicely
Thank you then.
presentation.